Okay, welcome. Tonight's candidate training is going to be on assembling your team. So we're going to go over how do you assemble a really good campaign team, and how do you do that as libertarians, because we don't have yet a lot of the built up infrastructure that the old parties have, but we're working on that. So as many of you know, we're going to be doing regional trainings. So there will be a weekend, like a serious weekend, like 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. kind of weekend, coming to a region near you. This will be in-person training, and it's the basics of how to run a campaign. The nice thing about this is attendees who take this course will get a certification, and people who have that certification and who wish will be listed on lp.org along with a way to contact them. And we want to do that so that candidates now have a place to go where they can find someone to assist them with their campaign that they know has a baseline of knowledge about how to do this. Like, we're starting to institutionalize this. And then that will happen in the regions, in the odd years. And then in the even years at the national convention, we're going to have more targeted, higher level training in very specific areas of campaigns. So you can get then your next level of certification in a specific area. But until those magic days happen, how do you find your campaign team? All right, so I'm going to share this with you. Okay, so in assembling your campaign team, and I do want you to think of you guys as, you know, like superheroes fighting for liberty, right? So you're looking at people who can mesh together well. One of the challenges that libertarians have, as I said, is we don't have this built-in infrastructure of having, you know, like all of these people trained and they've done campaigns forever, and you just go to the party at, you know, at your Senate district level or whatever, and then they load you on up with your people. Also, libertarians do have unique challenges and unique advantages. And so not everything that the old parties do in campaigning works for libertarians. Most of it does, but some of it doesn't. So you're looking for campaign people who can be, you know, libertarian specific. So first of all, we're going to look at what are the basic roles within a campaign. And so you have your candidate, and then whether you call them your body person or your scheduler or your personal assistant or your bestie, I don't care what you call it, but that's the person that holds your schedule, that is physically with you at events, is that person that can always be relied on. They're your cheerleader, your gopher, your everything. So that type of role is someone that you personally trust and is a good friend to you and can be a good friend to you, but is also very trustworthy and organized and business minded. You also have your campaign manager. Candidates find their campaign manager. Campaign managers find everyone else. Oftentimes I talk to candidates and they are looking for a treasurer, which I completely understand because you have to have a treasurer to legally do most campaigns. But the person they need to find is the campaign manager. Find your campaign manager. They find everyone else. Yes, the candidate is probably involved in that process as well, but that's really one of the roles of the campaign manager. And then it breaks down into these major areas. And depending on the size of your campaign, there might be further tiers down. There might be smaller subsets. Or if you're on a very tiny campaign, you might have people doing a couple roles, and that's okay. But you have communications, and I'll tell you that digital is getting ready to break off into its own level. It used to always be under communications. Now it's starting, depending, to be co-equal with, your fundraising and finance. Um, and fundraising and finance it includes your treasurer as well. Data, that used to be um, a mix of IT and web, but now that area is about data analytics and analyzing opportunities. Then you have your political area, which is this is your messaging, this is your polling, this is your, that type of area. And then you have your field ops. So those are your main areas. How do you find these people? Are you going to be asking, hey, I'm looking for a field director. Who does field director? I'm looking for data analytics. Who does that? Sometimes you can. A lot of times you can't, though. So what do you do? Well, what you can do is, and we're going to go through this, and I'll go through this first one, and then after that, I'm going to have you guys participating in what you think this is. On the left-hand side of your screen, these are the characteristics. These are the traits of a good campaign manager. On the right-hand side, these are career fields that don't say campaign manager, but they make really good campaign managers because these are people who have those traits and skills. So the traits and skills are, of course, they're very organized because they are in charge of absolutely everything. They're in charge of the strategy, but they're also in charge of making sure that the actual day-to-day tactical things happen. They also can't be complete jerks. You're going to have to work closely with this person. So they're going to have some interpersonal skills. They're going to have to know when to push people and when to cheerlead. They also need to be a leader because they are the leader. As a candidate, you're the product. The campaign manager is the one in charge. So they need to be a leader. And when I say a leader is someone others willingly and voluntarily choose to follow. So they need to be that type of person, very level-headed. They keep people focused. They keep them motivated, even during the grind when everyone's like, oh my God, the bloom is off the rose. It's no longer so exciting. And election day is still a day away, still some days away. They also have to be able to delegate, though. Leaders are really good at delegating. They don't do absolutely everything themselves and micromanage and nitpick. They're strategic. They come up with the strategy and the plan, right? They have to constantly pull back and get this, 40,000-foot view of the campaign and make sure this is where it's going. They have to make tough decisions. They understand everything's a trade-off, and they are not risk adverse. They're willing to take calculated risks. Strength and resolve. It's a tough job. They're willing to do it. They're not going to quit on you. If there's a setback, they're going to look for how to continue. And they have to be trustworthy. Campaign managers, that's who you tell your deepest, darkest secrets, because every one of those deepest, darkest secrets is going to come out in the campaign trail. And you do not want your campaign manager blindsided. And that's your partner who's going to help you come up with your game plan for how to deal with when your deep, dark secrets are revealed to the press. Can you trust them to make good decisions? Okay. If you can trust them with your deepest, darkest secrets, you think they're, organized and they're a leader and they make good decisions and all that kind of stuff, then as a candidate, you gotta let them make those decisions then. Remember, you're the product. Campaign manager is the manager. So with those traits, these career fields are career fields that you can look for someone that would be a really good campaign manager. Realtors make amazing campaign managers because everything they have to do as a realtor and juggle and keep going um, is the exact process of running a campaign. Same with salespersons who do intangible sales, service type sales, right? Rather than here's a widget, buy my widget. Project managers, people that can see something from one end clear to the other, view all the complexities of it, make sure everyone on their team is doing the right thing at the right time. Clergy members. What clergy members have to do to manage their church or synagogue or mosque or whatever religious organization that they are managing takes every one of those skills, and they are excellent people managers. Community service managers and nonprofit executive directors. These are kind of related career fields. But these are people who are used to having an overarching goal with an aspirational motivation. They are used to working with volunteers. They are used to working with press. They're used to trying to get the message out there. They're used to fundraising. They have all of those skills. So you can see when you're looking for a campaign manager, you don't have to, if you find someone who is experienced, that's fantastic. If you're unable to find someone who is experienced in managing campaigns, these are your career fields that you look to. So if we look at a different area, remember we had campaign manager and then those sub areas. So now we're looking at communications. And we look again, what makes a really good communications director? They have to have intellectual agility. They have to be really curious. They want to look in a wide range of subjects. They have to be extremely fast learners. They have to confidently communicate about a wide range of things, and they have to be able to do it to a wide range of audiences. Strong intuition. They know what's going to happen before it's happening because they can get that positioning. The other thing is they're people who know how to read a room. Part of it's intuition, part of it is being able to read other people's body languages, expressions, all that type of thing. Really, really good on that. Objectivity. Yes, you want them to support you. Yes, you want them to be on board with libertarian ideals and all of that. But a really good communications director has objectivity. They can keep this neutral mindset, and then they use that to provide really clear, objective thinking, and they can bring different perspectives. And the reason why you want that objectivity is because everything gets super personal during a campaign, and they're the person that has to pull back and objectively look at the messaging and say, yes, this will appeal. No, this will not. This word is not good. I understand that you like that, but absolutely not. They're going to bring that objectivity. Writing and speaking skills, of course, because they're going to speak as if they are the candidate. They're going to write as if they are the candidate. So you might want to make sure that they have halfway decent grammar. Excellent judgment. They know when to make a public statement, but they know when to shut up on something. And timely. Not only do they know when something's trending or going to be hot or you can get in front of something, but they get stuff done on time. So yes, you can have a comms director, and that's what they do. They do political messaging, and that's their deal. But if you don't have someone that is something they have direct experience in, what other career fields have those skills? Journalists and reporters, caveat on that one. They can often be challenging to work with on a team. Writers, of any type, if they are a writer of any type, they can usually adapt to whatever writing style is needed, and they have that base of knowledge. Brand managers, if someone is a brand manager or marketing, one you may not have thought of, people who do college admissions. College admissions, they're the ones that when prospective students and their parents or, that kind of thing, when they come in, they're the ones that delve into what makes this person tick? Why are they in front of me? Yes, it's to get an education, but they know that's not the whole deal. And they've got to find out what makes that person tick, and their spouse and their parents and whoever else is involved in the decision making. And then they have to showcase the parts of their college that answer what the person didn't even specifically say they were looking for. They're very good at that. Event planners. Now my question is, and you guys can start to unmute and jump in, because this is where we're going to start to be more collaborative in this. Who else, like what other career fields do you think have those skills? Who did I miss?
Sales.
Sales, absolutely. About any type of salesperson. But I will tell you on sales, have them do a writing test, because many salespeople are great speakers. They may not have the writing skills. And I say that as a former sales and sales manager. Anyone else?
A little bit of a, go ahead. I was going to say something.
Sorry, this is Bob Robinson. The other part of the spectrum, you said college admission. How about college students? I was active in my political party when I was president of our political party when I was in college. So, English majors perhaps could be very, very, very good opportunities to participate in the campaign.
Absolutely. Anyone else?
Yeah, it's a bit of new media, and like you said, you might want to try a writing test to make sure. But if you know a professional streamer, somebody who has some sort of podcast or does a Twitch stream or something like that, they're clearly very good at communicating if they're successful at those things. So those would be skilled people at that as well.
Okay, and Danny, you have your hand raised.
That was me.
Oh, sorry. Wasn't clicking through right.
This is Tyler. I found too, human resources people have traditionally been really good, in my experience, at communicating, writing, effective messaging.
They are. And many people don't think of human resources as being in the communications career field, but they absolutely are. And depending on where they are in HR, some of them make really good campaign managers because they're good at looking for the right person for the right job. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so this one you see is totally blank because we're getting into fundraising. So I'm going to ask you, what skills and traits make a really good fundraiser, really good development director? I would say one of them is they have to be okay with talking to people. Fundraisers have to ask for money, so they have to be okay with asking someone to donate, point blank. So that would be one thing that I would say is a skill and a trait for a fundraiser. What other skills or traits or things would you look for in a good fundraiser?
Somebody that's done events before.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to dovetail into the communications where somebody brought up sales. This is a better fit for a salesperson for fundraising, where a marketing person would be better for communications.
Yep. Salespeople they ask for money all the time. I mean, well, if they don't, they're not in sales very long.
I would say passionate and energetic.
Yes, absolutely. A fundraiser is someone that is saying, this is a dream that you can accomplish through this candidate. Do you want to do that? Do you want to make this happen? And yeah, if they are not enthusiastic and passionate, they're not going to be able to have the person they're talking to understand that dream and buy into it. Any other traits?
Likable and an agreeable personality.
Very much so. Likable and agreeable. Fundraising also is one of the traits where I will tell you that attractiveness is important. I'm not saying that you have to be good looking. That's different. Attractiveness is symmetrical features and you look friendly.
Well dressed.
Yeah, right? You know, clean, neat, presentable kind of thing. So the attractive is like a big leg up.
I would say people that are used to networking and dealing with large groups cooperatively like that. Networked people tend to be able to pull money.
Absolutely. So what careers could we look for? We had sales as one of the careers mentioned, and absolutely. But what other careers would be good for fundraising?
Lawyers.
Real estate.
Lawyers, real estate, absolutely.
I'm going to say just about any entrepreneurial profession where the person is confident. I think just to blanket say something like this profession or that, you know, there's lots of people in we'll go with attorneys. I know a lot of great attorneys, but a lot of them are duds too. It's an individual thing where you've got to have confidence. You have to have it naturally.
Yeah. PTA parents. You know what I'm saying? The person that's always doing the fundraising for your kids at school, right? Or, you know, whether it's with Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or, you know, whatever type of organization that is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's always a few of those that are just freaking powerhouses.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good fundraiser.
Yeah.
Any other career fields?
Anyone currently working in the nonprofit field, they're already used to fundraising. They likely have the skill set. They likely have the network. If you can land one of those, you're doing well.
And they usually have really good soft skills on following up and continuing to develop that person for repeated donations, because they understand that long-term relationship. Yeah. All right, let's take a peek. All right, so data. And this used to be kind of an area that was called like IT. And now we're looking at it more as data. Data is becoming more and more important in a campaign. Not just accumulating data, but knowing how to read data and analyze it. So what are the skills and traits for someone that is going to be your director of data?
Extremely organized.
Yes. Other traits?
Analytical, obviously.
Yep.
They need to have a love of math, I would think.
What other traits?
I would also throw in, they have to be realists. In data, you often can get, especially in political campaigns, a lot of overselling about what can be done. And
Yes.
if you're not realistic about what you're actually going to do with the data, you can spin a lot of wheels. So having somebody that's very realistic in that area, to me, sounds important.
Mm-hmm.
So as a data analyst, problem solving skills is going to be one of your big ones. Somebody who can find that needle in the haystack that you're looking for, because data is a haystack and there's certain things you need to pull out of it. So you need somebody who has a little bit of creativity mixed with all that math and analytical skills so that you can solve the problems you're trying to solve.
They really good ones help you find better questions to find the answers to. When you have someone that's a really good director of data, man, they're good at that. And yes, and I would also put on there people skills, being able to work with a team.
Mhm. Mhm.
So what career fields would we find? I mean, of course, data analyst, right? But what other career fields could you find someone that could do this type of position?
IT, finance, accounting.
Attorneys.
I'm going to circle back to your project manager from earlier. They are really good at solving problems and using
They
data
are.
properly.
Yeah.
Research librarians.
Anyone in the STEM field, all my analytics
Yeah.
experience comes from college chemistry.
Yep. An engineer. Yeah. So that's the area you're going to be looking at. So, this is to help you kind of broaden out thinking where you're going to find your campaign team. And I'll stop at this moment just for a second. And in all of these skills and traits, what is the one thing that so far we have not mentioned and won't mention in the next one either? That is a skill or trait that you need to have to be on your campaign team. Being a libertarian. So many libertarian candidates limit themselves by only looking for campaign team members who are libertarians. That is not necessary. Do not look libertarian first. Look at skills and traits, career fields, and who do you know that overlaps. So we'll look at the next section. Okay, so your political arm. Even in this one, as long as they have a really good political mind and they have an idea of what a libertarian is and what libertarian philosophy is as a base, they do not need to be a libertarian to be in this. Does it help? Sure. In this one, it helps, but it's not needed. So what is the skills and traits for your political director? This is the person that's going to help you come up with your platform, right? They're going to help you come up with some of your political strategy section along with your campaign manager. So this is about, it's got a little snick of messaging, it's got a little snick of analytics, it's got a little, but it's really focused on what are the policy positions that we need to take and how do we focus in on that, and how do we find the affinity groups that this message will target and we'll collect enough of them in that we can get to our win number. So what are the skills and traits of your political director?
Strong communication skills,
Mm-hmm.
because no matter, they're going to have to convince someone of something. And so you have to have those communication skills, because this is a job that's at the heart of the debate.
Yes, it is. Good judgment. Knowing what actually is an important issue, knowing what actually is a solution which solves that challenge. What other skills and traits?
Some experience in government could help in this area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, knowing how the internal process works. Absolutely. Any other skills and traits?
Educated about the issues.
Yes. Yep. They're intellectually curious about all of these issues. You know, they don't have to be forced to explore them. They have a far-ranging mind. And I will also put this in. They understand how to get a message across extremely focused and concisely.
Here's where a branding, marketing, very specifically branding,
Branding.
type marketer comes in very handy. If you have someone that you know that does that very specifically, they can help you shape your message to your audience, because that's what they
Yes.
do.
Yeah, exactly. And they understand all those substratas of your audience. So what other careers?
Teachers.
Yes, absolutely. This is a really good one if you know a teacher. And I'll tell you, kindergarten teachers are the best at this. If they can get little kids to line up and wash their hands, they can communicate any message. they can solve any problem. What other careers?
Librarians and researchers.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so here's your field ops. So this is they're in charge of your phone banking, they're in charge of your volunteers, they're in charge of your outreach affinity groups, door knocking, get out the vote, right? So this is a big arm. This is your big active arm. So what are the skills and traits and character attributes that you need in someone to head up your field ops?
Friendly. They have to be friendly.
Yes.
A predisposition towards being friendly.
Yep.
Energetic.
Oh, they have to be so high energy. And not just in duration, like short duration. They need to be high energy for months. Yes.
Team leader.
Yes. They are a team leader. They have to be a team leader. And they have to be not a manager. You are correct. They need to be a team leader.
It would seem there would be a degree of being mission driven, because in essence, you're out there conveying the message, and the message is a mission, and it's getting it out to as many people as you can in a positive way. So I would say that they're mission driven.
Ambitious.
Yes, ambitious. Yeah.
A motivator. They got to keep the team motivated as well.
Yes, they do.
Organized.
Very organized. They have so many balls in the air. Next to your campaign manager, this is probably your most intense position that is filled within your campaign. Should we hop to careers? What kind of careers use those traits?
I would immediately go with someone in the church or clergy, youth ministers, things like that.
Youth ministers, big time, yeah.
Team leaders, motivators, that's what they're good at.
Sports coaches. Any others? I would say military at staff sergeant and higher. Any other careers that you can think of that would have those skills and traits?
Small business owners.
Yes, absolutely, small business owners. On this one, specifically sales managers, because they have sales teams that are out in the field. They're used to this kind of thing. They're also used to working with people doing tasks that they may not be super excited about and finding out how to keep them going. Any other careers? Okay, so this exercise that I wanted to take you through, and you guys were amazing on this, and I'm happy you jumped into it. You never know when when you do this type of interactive training if people are going to jump in or just be like, ooh. But thank you for jumping into this. I really appreciate that. And I hope that by going through this, you're starting to think of staffing your campaign team in a different way with different priorities. And instead of, okay, I'm running for office, who do I know that's a libertarian that's maybe done this, and getting your head in a different headspace and saying, I want a professional campaign staff. Therefore, I need to think about the specific skills and experience I would like this campaign team member to have. And then I can look for them in maybe non-traditional campaign areas.